Waking up in the morning, thinking about so many things. I just wish things would get better. I'm trying to get rid of them, but nothing seems to stay the same.
Oh my God. Cruel. Buyer letters, you can say whatever you want, but they're effective. They are effective, I think, regardless. You can say that you shouldn't do them, they're wrong, you're discriminating, all that kind of stuff. But I'm trying to get an offer done. If they want to read it, they can read it.
Those poor attorneys, they have to start charging more legal fees. When you guys are all getting sued over it, I mean, they got to make a living, right? I mean, it'll be good for you guys. Well, I mean, think about that. I mean, by that little girl, you're assuming she's with a family. So all of a sudden that's familia status, right? And all of a sudden you're discriminating against a family. So the single guy doesn't get the house because she got the house because she's a little girl. That is a zinger. That keeps the attorneys busy.
You're thinking too much into it. I think you want to know as much as you can about a buyer and then the qualifications, because a lender letter is worthless for the most part. I mean, most lender letters are worthless. I want to know where they work, if they get good credit, they have down payment money. No letter says that. And if you can offer that and tell us, a seller, that you have that, that's going to make you look better.
If they would keep the letters to what's considered to be objective, yes, I agree. Letters could be good, but they don't. We have a family and we live in, or we're first generation Americans, or we're, and all those things that go in there are all things that we have to be careful about, because we're not supposed to put those, I agree though, Chris, and I'm not arguing with you. Got to be, as a young agent or a new agent to the business, young or old, I guess, you just got to be careful as to how you're making your criteria for decisions, because that's why I love working from home. You don't know what you look like, what your interests are. You don't know all you know is if you're good at whatever that task is on that computer, that's the best way to do it. If you're a hard worker, who cares? You can have an arm coming out of your forehead and nobody's going to care because you're working from home. That's the way it should be. Completely based on the offer, the stability of the offer. Can they perform or not? Shouldn't have anything to do with, if they're on the soccer team or if they're wearing a Vikings jersey.
Well, a Vikings jersey would make a difference, just so you know.
What is this fantasy that we're reading?
1955? Monthly payments of just under $48. That includes principal, tax, and insurance. And then closing costs and prepayment. Closing costs, $155.
For $7,500. You can't get a four-wheeler. You can't buy an ice house. Heck, you can barely buy an electric bike for that amount of money nowadays. It's like, and then you say, well, but those guys only made $4 an hour. You had to work one day of the week to afford that house. And someday we'll probably look at it and say, God, remember when house payments were only $5,000 a month? Yeah. Now they're $30,000 a month. We all are billionaires, and you're only cool if you're a trillionaire. Remember when it used to be a big deal to be a millionaire? Now it's like, well, yeah, but you can't even survive being a millionaire.